So for case 2, I have the same labeling. I want the total income. For case 2, total income is $95,000. Then I need my exclusions. So right here I've got my exempt bond interest, $25,000. Well, that's an exclusion. They don't have to include that with their income, so they get to deduct that. So if I take that total income of $95,000 and deduct that exclusion, that leaves me with $70,000 gross income. Okay, then I need the standard deduction. Now notice this is a different filing status, and you want to be careful because there's a possibility there of using the wrong standard deduction. This is a different status than case 1. This is head of household filing status. So you have to look up in the textbook the standard deduction for head of household for 2012, but it happens to be $8,700. So there's your standard deduction. Now, personal exemption. How many personal exemptions are they entitled to? Well, one for the taxpayer, one for the child. Because this is head of household, that's a single person, and they happen to only have one dependent. So that means they're only entitled to 2 personal exemptions. So again, it's in the textbook, $3,800 is the personal exemption amount for 2012. They're entitled to 2 of them. So that's going to be $7,600, yet another deduction. So the taxable income is going to be the gross income of $70,000 less the standard deduction less the personal exemptions. So in the end, they have a taxable income of $53,700. So now I'm ready to calculate the tax liability. So once again, I'll use my 2012 tax rate schedule. It's the final page, page 14 out of 14 pages of the 2012 tax schedule PDF, and it's located in the supplemental section of the course website. Now again, I want to be careful. I want to make sure I use the proper table. This person's status was head of household. Well, for that I've got to go all the way down to this final table, because this is the table for head of household status. Now, what was their taxable income? $53,700. So where does that lay on the table? Well, that's going to be right in this area, because it's greater than $47,350, but not greater than $122,300. So it puts it in that area. So for that area, it's going to be $6,482.50 and 25% of the excess over $47,350. Well, I'll do the excess first. So that excess amount, it said, was $47,350. I'll deduct that first, and that'll tell me how much their income exceeds that threshold. So it exceeds it by $6,350. Well, then I need the percentage, and I've lost my table once again. Let me go and grab that table. So now I need that percentage. So that percentage is located right here next to the $47,350. It's 25%. So that's the percentage I want to use here. So 25%, that's going to be 0.25 as a decimal. So I'll take that $6,350 and multiply it by 25%, and I get $1,587.50. And then the last thing I'll do is I'll add on this additional amount, $6,482.50. So it's $6,482.50. So now I'll just add these two amounts together, and that'll give me the total tax liability. So for this particular taxpayer, total tax liability is $8,070. So once again, I'm going to calculate my 3 rates. So for marginal rate, I said before there's nothing to calculate. It's just the tax bracket. Well, we used 25%. So their marginal rate is 25%. Now, average rate, I'll have to calculate that. That'll be tax liability divided by taxable income. Well, their tax liability was $8,070. Their taxable income was $53,700. So if I take their tax liability and divide that by the taxable income, that works out to an average tax rate of about 15.03%. And then lastly, I'll do the same thing for effective rate. And again, that formula is tax liability divided by total income. So the tax liability, $8,070. Total income this time was $95,000. So that tax liability divided by that total income works out to an effective rate of about 8.49%. So they're paying a marginal rate of 25, an average rate of 15.03%, an effective rate of 8.49%. So that's the problem demonstration on how to calculate the marginal, average, and effective tax rates. And you're going to have a homework assignment that'll be very similar to this, but you can utilize this problem demonstration video as an example of how to calculate these three rates.